Meanwhile, the Winnipeg Jets are, well, they're winless in their last 9. They've fallen to 3rd place in the standings. The Jets featuring 6th-year All-Star center Dale Hawerchuk. He really is the franchise in Winnipeg. The Jets also feature the acrobatic goaltending of Eldon Pokey Reddick, who saved a tie with Quebec the other night. Watch this save against Peter Stastny. Coming up next, live from the Northland bench.
And we're set to go. The referee, Mike Nowith, will drop the puck between Laurie Boschman of Winnipeg and Mike Krushelnyski. And the puck shot in by Edmonton. Steve Smith pinching in. Here's Carlisle for Winnipeg. Randy Carlisle getting the puck along the boards. Neufeld tied up by Smith and covering up rookie Brad Berry. He's out of the University of North Dakota. He can't get the puck out. And the shot by Randy Gregg, and Reddick the first save of the game. Carlisle up on the wing, and the puck deflects into the crowd off Bill Derlego.
There's Dan Maloney, coach of the Winnipeg Jets in his first year as head coach. Previously in Toronto. Boy, what a tough left winger he was when he played. You saw that scowl. He was just as tough on the ice. He really runs a tight ship here in Winnipeg. Very defensive oriented, very similar to his style, and you see that so often. The team that a man coaches really adopts the same style. Of course, there's the man we can't say enough about, Mr. Everything to the hockey world. Ken, he holds or shares 42 National Hockey League records. Not bad.
The key, when you look at the long haul for Gretzky, is going to be his endurance or willingness to play when you look ahead to pass some of Gordie Howe's records. But if he plays a lot of years, he'll own the record book.
Oh, no question.
The faceoff will come up inside the Winnipeg blue line, and they're matching lines here. The last line shift is allowed, of course, to the home team, Edmonton.
I'm really surprised. I can't imagine Glenn Sather pulling Wayne Gretzky off just because Winnipeg has their checking line out there. Wayne should be double shifted tonight. I think he will be before long.
Smale, Steen, and Hamel, the checking line for Winnipeg. Here's Messier, and off Reddick's stick, the veteran Lee Fogelin. Ahead for Stan Kulak, who just came over from Vancouver, and unable to keep the puck in is Huddy, and Fogelin will cover up. We're in the first minute of play. The Jets and the Oilers here in Edmonton. And play is stopped. A hand pass by the Winnipeg Jets at the 1 minute, 1 second mark.
Well, there's Dale Hawerchuk, and therein lies the reason the Wayne Gretzky was pulled by Glenn Sather. Dale Hawerchuk, as we mentioned in our open, is basically the single big threat for Winnipeg. He's flanked by McLean, flanked by Mullen. But one thing Glenn Sather is conscious of is stopping this man. Look at those production totals. Very, very prolific scorer. Glenn Sather wants a little better defensive line out there than Wayne Gretzky. One thing Wayne is not known for is his defensive play.
Puck shot in by Winnipeg, but into the crowd, and we'll have another quick stoppage and a neutral faceoff coming up. We mentioned that Edmonton was a little bit short, but Paul Coffey playing tonight. Boy, that's a big surprise.
It is a big surprise. I asked him this morning. I walked by him in the dressing room, and I said, Paul, are you going tonight? He said, no. Everybody else that we asked said, no, he's not. He is a surprise addition, was out with a bad back. Well, I'll tell you, a valuable man. Their power play has really suffered without him. He should make a difference tonight.
Edmonton has Kulak and Anderson on the wings. Messier is at center. And the puck controlled by Gilles Hamel of Winnipeg, and he just hands it to the Edmonton defense. Paul Coffey. With that bad back, it'll be interesting to see how well he maneuvers. Messier is stopped. And the puck cleared out by Craig Endon. Here's a chance for Winnipeg, but Anderson corrals the puck, and he'll set things up for the Oilers. He's looking for Coffey. McLean knocks the puck down, and here's the rookie, Kulak. Approaching the 2-minute mark in the first period, there's no score. Dave Ellett, number 2 for Edmonton, for Winnipeg, takes the hit, and the puck is cleared out. Drilled on the play was the Jets' Paul McLean, and here's Randy Gregg for Edmonton. He's bothered by Hawerchuk, and the puck at center ice for McLean. Carlisle plays it back into his own end, and the 21-year-old defenseman Brad Berry is there. Carlisle, who won the Norris Trophy while with Pittsburgh, Hits Howard Chuck at center ice, and he'll just smash the puck in. Ramos Sumanis, who's on with Gretzky and Curry, plays the puck to Smith. Sumanin to Gretzky. Curry in the middle to Gretzky against Carlisle. Gretzky looking for Curry. And finally, he is slowed up by Gilles Hamel. Look at Smith coming in from the left point. Gretzky, he's got Curry, and Reddick kicks it out as that puck deflected off Hamel. Now the Winnipeg Jets on the attack. There's no score. Barry, the defenseman, over the line. Curry the other way. And he's poke-checked, and Jari Kurri will circle in his own end. Charlie Huddy, Ramos Sumanin. Gretzky with a lead to Huddy. Playing the puck behind his net is Tim Waters, the Michigan Tech product. And Neufeld covered, but the Jets get the puck out.
Boy, very, very aggressive play by Edmonton's defense at this point in the game, Ken. Really pinching in tight. That's the reason they're hemming Winnipeg in when they get in there deep. They're really pinching in.
Huddy out of the reach of Curry, but here's Gretzky with Dale Hunter. He shoots. Oh, a great save by Eldon Pokey Reddick. What a setup for Dave Hunter.
Ken, I think Hunter thought he had the wide open net. He took his time. He shouldn't have. If he was bearing down, he would have jammed it home. He just tried to redirect it into the net. Reddick was there.
Napier stopped by Reddick, the rookie Winnipeg goalie. 4 minutes have been played in the first period. There's no score. Dave Hunter, one of 3 Hunter brothers playing in the NHL. Vogelin, McTavish, the former Bruin. And back for the puck, Mario Marois. Now Coffey keeps it in for Edmonton. Out of the reach of McTavish. Jim Kite, the 22-year-old defenseman, is slowed up by Napier. Then McTavish is poke-checked. And Reddick will play the puck around the boards for Builder Lego, but it gets caught on the rail. And there's Jeff Gookboom pinching in from the point. And Winnipeg having a tough time in the first period getting out of their own end. Paul McLean shoots the puck in. This is Gookboom, a 21-year-old defenseman, to McTavish. And finally, the Jets control. Finally now, Edmonton getting the puck back. Napier shooting it in. Graves shot wide. And a chance for Endy. He's a rookie shooting it in. McLean tied up by Kevin McClellan, taken to the boards. And McClellan ends up with a puck, but loses his stick. He broke the blade. Howard Chuck back to the point. Barry too well covered. And here's Dave Ellis. Off the boards for 18-year-old Craig Endy, and he's spun around. Bogue can't get the puck out. Kept in by McLean. Gregg after it. He's got Endy on his back. Krushelnyski spins him around. Dr. Randy Gregg ahead to McClellan, who shoots the puck in. Andrew McBain gets the puck to Howard Chuck. He's checked by Anderson. Over it comes to Carlisle. His feed to McBain broken up. Gregg again for Edmonton to Krushelnyski. And McClellan, an effort that goes to Reddick's doorstep. Howard Chuck trying to get the puck ahead, and he does. And the play is broken up by Messier. Over to Glenn Anderson. His shot, and it's kicked out by Pokey Reddick. Then Stan Kulak, a drive that deflects wide. Here's Smith. Off Anderson's stick, and Carlisle for Winnipeg. The action continues as Budweiser keeps the action moving. For all you do, this Bud's for you. And Andy Moog is tested there on a low drive by Brian Mullen.
Very often in this game, that lack of action around you will hurt you when that first shot comes. Andy Moog was hit, I believe, with that shot, so it wasn't a real tough save. But let's face it, this is the first time we've seen Winnipeg at Edmonton's end. That shot was on him. Very often the goaltender would rather have a little bit of work than no work at all. Prior to that, here's the great one. This is his feed to Dave Hunter. You could see that he just redirected it towards the net. Had he actually stopped it and shot, he would have been able to pick the entire net. He never did stop it and shoot it, did he? He just redirected it. Pokey Reddick, nice stretch by the kid.
No score, first period. 6 minutes, 29 seconds have been played. Edmonton has had 4 of the 5 shots on goal. Ron Wilson centering a line for Winnipeg. Crucial Niski taking the puck for Edmonton. He's got Anderson with him. And Messier in the corner. Messier. Marois, the veteran defenseman, gets it ahead. Mullen shoots. And the save by Moog as Ron Wilson was cruising in. A loose puck at center ice. It's speedster Glenn Anderson with Kulak and Messier. Anderson slowed up only for a moment. Steals the puck from Mario Marois. The Jets move on. McBain with Ron Wilson, and a poke check ends that attack. Lee Fogelin. Stan Kulak just tips the puck in. Back for it is Brad Berry. Edmonton changing. That gives the Jets in this effort a little time to get out of their own end. But the play is offside. 5-minute fighting penalties at 7:27 of the first period. There's a shot and a good save on Hamel by Moog. Paul Coffey again. His shot deflects wide. Yari Curry playing it off the glass behind the net. Ellett trying to get the puck ahead. Can't. Gretzky moves in front. Still has it. And Reddick stays with him beautifully. Coffey over to Book Boom, and that blistering drive goes wide. Hamel, the ex-Buffalo Sabre, for the Winnipeg Jets. And it's offside. He put his line mate Doug Smale offside at the Edmonton line. There's no score, but plenty of action. Bill Clement here in the first period.
Well, there sure is. Here's the big shot from Jeff Bukaboom from the point that went wide of Reddick. All the way around to this side. And this is a 2-on-1 for Winnipeg. There's the second guy coming into the screen. I talked about Edmonton playing aggressively, their defensemen, in Winnipeg's end and pinching in, actually moving in along the boards to stop Winnipeg's wingers. In the last 3 minutes since I mentioned that, they have done that. But the key to that is the wingers have to come back and back them up. They have given up 2 2-on-1s to Winnipeg by playing aggressively, but by not playing smart.
Randy Carlyle fires the puck back in, and Moog stops it. You saw Moog's lifetime record against Winnipeg, 15-2. Edmonton gets the puck back quickly in their own end. Napier leads the run. Over to Hunter, and it's offside.
2 minutes.
Edmonton with a sluggish power play, and Curry shoots wide. Anderson. Curry. Gretzky. Messier's at the left point. Now Reddick has trouble. Never did get a grasp on the puck.
Interesting, Ken. Wayne Gretzky, it looked as if he threw that puck out blind. There was nobody in front. He almost scored on it. I wonder if that was a set play. You can never tell with Wayne Gretzky when he will try and bank it off the back of someone's leg, bank it off the goalie's stick. Very unpredictable.
Paul Coffey, the key to the Edmonton power play. He's been out for some time, and Edmonton has only 4 goals in their last 40 power play chances. Short-handed Winnipeg. Ron Wilson along with Doug Smale, who has the puck. Marois on defense with Dave Ellett for Winnipeg, killing the penalty, and Marois intercepts. Carlyle picking up the holding penalty at 9:30 of this scoreless first period. Edmonton trying to get organized here.
There are 2 phases to every power play. The first one involves gaining the zone and setting up. That's what Mark Messier is trying to do right now. Then they start working their plays. All right, Edmonton should be set up.
Loose puck comes in front, and Pokey Reddick pounces on it.
Kind of uncharacteristic too, Ken, of Mark Messier dumping the puck in that way. They're almost guilty game after game of trying to carry it in too much and not shooting it in. Yet on the power play that time, Mark Messier actually chose to dump it in. Here's that look at Wayne Gretzky's chance. Well, he was trying to pass to someone, but it went off his skate. We never know. He might have actually been trying to bank that off of Winnipeg's defenseman's skate. He scored the strangest goals, and only when you play with him or watch him play often can you believe that he was trying to do it.
How's he doing this year, scoring 35 goals in 35 games?
Can you believe that?
That's
next one to him, 55 points, Mario Lemieux. So he's got about this usual spread in the scoring.
Gretzky, Crucial Niski. There's half a minute to go in the Edmonton power play. There's no score here in the first period. Waters gets the puck ahead. And the Jets are able to clear it out. Charlie Huddy will go back. Huddy, Krushelnyski, McTavish, Smith, and Gretzky on the ice for Edmonton.
Kenneth, there has been a bright spot for Winnipeg of late. Their penalty killing is still hanging tough, ranked 3rd in the NHL. That's strong.
Gretzky shoots. Reddick the save. And the puck is cleared the length of the ice by Andrew McBain. And both teams changing players. Now back at full strength are the Jets as Carlisle's out of the penalty box. Neufeld, the ex-Whaler, to Elliott. Here's Book for Edmonton. Can't get the puck out. Finally, Gretzky. Look at that move. Wow. And shooting wide is Coffey. That was remarkable. Here's a shot, and Gretzky fails to convert on the rebound after the pad save on Anderson's shot.
You know, Ken, as many assists as Wayne Gretzky gets, and he gets more than anybody's even come close to in the history of the game. Can you imagine how many he would get if the people that he passed to would put the puck in more consistently?
Boy, that's something. 7.5 minutes remaining in the first period. Messier for the Oilers. Can't get around Carlisle. Coffey to Messier and a bouncing puck. Mark Messier, one of the leading scorers in the league himself. A back scores! Messier!
Oh, yes. Boy, there was his strength showing through, Ken. He comes around the net with Dale Hawerchuk hanging on him, and he puts the big left leg out. He wheels and deals at the blue line, loses the puck, will get it back on a pass from Paul Coffey that goes right over his stick. Now he will come around the net and show his strength. He starts. Dale Hawerchuk will come from the right to try and check him. Here he is. Watch Messier with that left leg. He just sticks it out. Hawerchuk can't hold him. Dynamite backhand shot.
Messier has his 15th goal of the season from Coffey and McClelland at 12:36. Messier is the 3rd leading scorer in the NHL. Paul McLean shoots the puck in for Winnipeg. The Oilers lead it 1-0. They have outshot the Jets in this opening period 9-3. Smith, a pass for Messier, and Carlisle plays the puck to Mullen. Back on the defense to Tim Waters. Ben Smith intercepts, trying to get around Carlisle. Yanked down, no penalty. And this capacity crowd in Edmonton not happy with the lack of the call by referee Mike Nowitt. Carlisle feeds ahead. Paul McLean on with Hawerchuk and Brian Mullen. And the puck held.
Cut into the middle, and Dale Hawerchuk is just no match for a man of Messier's size. Dale Hawerchuk's not known as a checker. He really doesn't know how very well.
Here come the Oilers again. Suman into Gretzky. Vogelin, and a shot wide at the near point. Huddy keeps the puck in, and the Jets take over. Edmonton in this first period really has just not allowed the Jets to do much at all. Boki Reddick wanders. Marois. Steen. Elliott. Playing it around the boards. Smale back into the corner, and Vogelin takes over for the Oilers. Up to Jari Kurri. He can't get the puck around Hamel. The shot trickles right to Andy Moog, and he had to be alert. It's 1-0 Oilers, and we check in with Tom Meade.
10 other scores around the league tonight. In the 3rd period late, the Boston Bruins trail Hartford 2-0. Buffalo beats Philadelphia in Ted Sater's debut, the final 2-1 Sabres. Pittsburgh and the Islanders, they're in the 3rd. The Penguins lead the Islanders by a score. Well, let's go to the Rangers leading New Jersey by a score of 7-4 in the 3rd period. Elsewhere around the NHL tonight, Detroit leading Chicago 3-1 in the 3rd period. Other scores, there are 7 other games tonight. Pittsburgh on a goal by Ron Duguay lead the Islanders by a score of 3-2. And Minnesota has a 2-0 lead in the 2nd period against Toronto.
Here, a save by Moog. McTavish, an outlet pass too far for Messier, and he'll be replaced by Dave Hunter. Brian Mullen, whose brother Joe plays for Calgary, an errant pass, and the puck shot in by Edmonton. Carlisle back for it, and McLean clears the puck out. Too far for Mullen. And Carlisle retreats again, but it is offside Edmonton with 5:10 to go in the first period. 20 in the opening period. He goes around Carlisle, looking for someone to pass to, and had Coffey picked out. But hit a skate. Coffey shoots, and no, it did not go over the line. And Reddick, Bill Clement, has had a lot of trouble with passes and shots coming from the remote left and remote right. He's been baffled by them.
Well, it's the unexpected. I mean, Paul Coffey is probably the second most talented offensive player behind this guy. Look at the move he puts on Randy Carlisle here. Gains possession. Wayne Gretzky actually makes a bad pass, hits a skate, but it goes over to Coffey. And make no mistake about this, Coffey tries to shoot it right at Reddick's pads. It's a tough play because it's the unexpected. Very often a goalie will get caught like that. There's so many things to take care of out there. You don't expect a guy like Paul Coffey to shoot it, you know, in a tight angle like that. But boy, they're gifted enough that they do that. Guys like Coffey, Gretzky.
Pokey Reddick seeing a lot of the puck in this first period. The Jets rookie goalie who played the last 2 seasons in the International League with the Fort Wayne Comets. Smith to Steve Graves. He avoids the check but loses the puck. 18-year-old Craig Endine, who played with Seattle in the Western League, and the Oilers take over. Marois off the boards, and Boschman stopped. Here's Endine, knocked to the ice. Krushelnyski avoids the check. Endine centers, and Neufeld shoots it wide as Gregg was all over him. Kulak gets the puck out, and back for it is Marois in his 9th NHL season. Dave Ellett gets it to center ice, and the Oilers take over. McLean just out of the reach of Anderson. Then the puck handed to Messier. Glenn Anderson, and out of the reach of McClellan, but here's Vogelin, the save, and McClellan shoots it wide. Again, the veteran Lee Vogelin at the point. McClellan, and Anderson can't get the shot as Ellett had him well covered. Huddy trying to keep the puck in at the point. And finally, it's held for a face-off with 3:24 to go, and an action-packed period number 1.
You know, you don't hear much about guys like Charlie Huddy on this Edmonton team. It seems that it's always Coffey, always Gretzky, but we got to give credit where credit is due. A guy like Charlie Huddy plays a pretty darn steady game of hockey, along with Dr. Randy Gregg, Kevin Lowe. And these are the unsung heroes on this Edmonton team. And it's not only the Messiers and the Gretzkys and the Coffeys, but guys like Charlie Huddy.
Speaking of Kevin Lowe, a top defenseman, he was scratched with ailing stomach muscles tonight. Esa Tikkanen, Craig Muni also on the shelf with injuries for Edmonton. Howard Chuck with McLean. The pass back to the point for Barry is intercepted. Glenn Sather tonight has Danny Gare, Jim Playfair, and Marty McSorley watching this from the sidelines. It's 1-0 Edmonton. They have owned the puck for much of the first period. Remo Subban lets a shot go, and the glove of Pokey Reddick keeps that from catching the upper corner.
Yeah, he had that labeled for the upper corner. You're right, Ken.
Mullen stops Suominen. Just plays the puck to Jeff Bookboom at the defense of Edmonton. Over to Paul Coffey. Suominen's the left wing. Gretzky's on with Curry, and Carlisle intercepts the Gretzky pass and tests Andy Moog. You will not see that happen to Wayne Gretzky very often. Jari Kurri. Bookboom. Gretzky. He's got Suominen and Curry in front. Paul Coffey. Same angle, same effort, and a little different positioning by Reddick.
I think Reddick's onto it by now. That play works once, if at all.
Gretzky in the corner against Brian Mullen. Up to Paul McLean. And very quickly, Curry back to break up the play.
Of course, Ken, the other advantage of that sharp angle shot is that even if it doesn't go in, if you have people converging on the net, very often there's a rebound, and when the rebound's right at his feet, it's tough.
Gretzky knocked down. That's like knocking a statue in the city square down here in Edmonton. Marois, quick shot. Good save, Moog. Marois with Moog down. Can't put it upstairs. And Gretzky gains possession. A rare good scoring chance there for the Jets. Gretzky knocked down by Smale. And this crowd unhappy with referee Mike Noah. Ellett takes out Anderson. Chasing the puck, Marois. Messier beats him to it, centers. The Jets intercept and clear to center ice. Oilers lead it 1-0. just over a minute to go in the first period. Thomas Steen back for the puck against Messier. Look at the strength of Messier. Now Barry playing it to the other side. Gregg beats Wilson there. Messier back to Randy Gregg. Again, Winnipeg unable to clear it out. Finally, Barry does. To Ron Wilson. Trying to get in. He shoots. And a good save by Andy Moog with a fine second effort by the veteran Jet, Ron Wilson.
Finally, some action for Andy Moog. I'll tell you, most of their shots have been right at him. They've had some decent angles to shoot from, but they've all ended up right at Andy Moog. Randy Carlyle had a pretty good chance that wasn't at Moog, and he had to make a good save on him. Here's Marois, I believe, trying to get through, but you see that shot is right at him. Of course, Marois' a defenseman. At the other end, just prior to that, was Pokey Reddick having to make this big save. And let's see if this was, we called it labeled for the top corner. It looked to me as if it had a chance. Reddick's supposed to have a very good glove hand. This is the first chance we've had to see him this year, but the Winnipeg management felt that he was better suited than their other young goalie to play against Edmonton because of his a little more conservative stand-up style. You really don't want to get a goalie in there that flops around. We've seen how Edmonton can work the puck in, pass it around, and get somebody that likes to flop around and get caught out of position, and they make mincemeat out of you.
There are 44 seconds remaining in the period. Oilers lead it 1-0. Tom Mees will be along during the first intermission. Be sure to stay with us here on the NHL Tonight. He's mentioned how many other games are going. He'll bring you up to date on all of the other action around the NHL. Waters behind the net. Moog leaves the puck for Fogelin up to Mark Napier, the ex-Canadian and North Star, to the former Bruin McTavish. Reddick lets the puck go around the boards, and here's Huddy up from the defense. He avoids a check, but the puck caroms into the crowd with 26 seconds to go in this period. Bill Clement talking about goaltenders. We mentioned Reddick, how young he is, a rookie at age 22. There seem to be an unusually high number of young rookie goalies in the NHL. In fact, 15 of the 21 teams have goaltenders playing most of the games less than 26 years of age. In fact, 6 of the first-string goalies this year are 22 or under, like Reddick.
Yeah, try and explain that. I'm not sure that there is a reason for it, other than the fact that the entire game has gotten so much younger over the years since National Hockey League teams were given the right to draft 17 and 18-year-olds. Look at Dan Maloney again, Ken. We talked to him this morning. He said he did not appreciate Wayne Gretzky's greatness until he actually coached against him in this division.
He used to see Gretzky 3 times a season coaching Toronto. Now he sees him 8 times. Dave Hunter with Ellett all over him. He's stapled to the boards. McTavish trying to pick off a loose puck. Laurie Boschman there for the Jets. And the puck cleared back to the Edmonton blue line as time runs out with a shot by Thomas Steen. 11 shots for Edmonton, 9 shots for the Jets, and the Oilers get the only goal. It comes off the stick of Mark Messier at 12:36 with Coffey and McClellan assisting.
Could have been worse for Winnipeg, Ken. Let's face it. Edmonton was all over them. The shots, they will finish off 11 for Edmonton, 9 for Winnipeg. Winnipeg came on a bit at the end, but it could be worse right now. They're not in a tough position. They're only down 1 goal. Not bad.
Let's go to Tom Mees. Assist as he passed Dino Ciccarelli in the goal-scoring race, and he's way ahead of everybody in the league. Mario Lemieux by some 30 points in the overall scoring race. Meanwhile, in Hartford, Connecticut tonight, goaltender extraordinaire Mike Liut pitched another shutout. The Hartford Whalers beat the Boston Bruins 2-0. They did the damage in the first and second period.
Could be an icing. Steve Smith touches it, icing the call against the Jets. The first period goal, Messier's 15th of the year from Coffey and McClellan at 12:36, and there are the shots in that first period. I think, Bill, in all honesty, that it looks a lot closer in summary than it actually was.
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of those 9 Winnipeg shots really weren't threatening shots, but I'll tell you, at least 5 to 6 of Edmonton's scoring chances were right in tight.
Boschman ready for the face-off for the Jets against the Oilers' Crucial Niski. Keep in mind, the Oilers are unbeaten in their last 7 games, and the Jets are winless in their last 9.
They're 0 for December.
Linesman Randy Minton trying to get Brad Barry out of the face-off circle, and they have a false start, and they'll do it over. And we'll check in with Tom Mees.
Thanks, Ken Wilson. The Bud Light hockey news quickly. Bob Froese, of course, traded this week from the Flyers to the New York Rangers in exchange for defenseman Shel Samuelson and a third-round draft pick. Former Ranger coach Ted Sater got a new job. He's now coaching the Buffalo Sabres. He's 1-0. The Sabres beat the Flyers tonight 2-1. And Ranger head coach Tom Webster will undergo surgery tomorrow to correct an inner ear infection problem. Webster will be sidelined for a couple of weeks, at least as far as air travel is concerned. Phil Esposito will take over the coaching duties. And the Pittsburgh Penguins star Mario Lemieux will be out up to 3 weeks. He strained some knee ligaments last Saturday against the Flyers. Now let's go back to Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton as the Oilers and the Winnipeg Jets. 1-0 Oilers. Here's Ken Wilson and Bill Clement.
And 13 seconds elapsed, and Winnipeg called for icing. A slow start to the second period.
Can't help but feel for the Penguins, Ken, with Mario Lemieux being out. You know, they tied Montreal. That went into overtime. They tied. They came close tonight. You can be sure in games like that, they would really like to have big number 66 out there.
Carlisle on defense with Barry. Barry has the puck for Winnipeg. Wilson up front with Boschman. Here's Boschman for the Jets in front for Neufeld. He can't control from the point. Barry shot deflects over the goal. Kulak clears the puck out for the Oilers. Here's Barry. He's hit by Graves. Gets the puck up to the blue line. Ron Wilson. Gregg throws the check on Howardchuk, but Howardchuk battles on, only to have Graves clear the zone. Both teams are going to change players just over a minute into this second period. Jets with a puck. They trail 1-0. Brian Mullen. Now Howardchuk beaten to the puck by Coffey, but Mullen intercepts. Behind the net to McLean. And Curry takes over for the Edmonton Oilers. Over to Paul Coffey, who wasn't expected to play, to Curry, breaking right in. Ready to save, as Curry really never got good wood on the puck. The great one. Losing to Marois. At the point, Coffey. Knocked down in front. And breaking out is Mario Marois, 3-on-2 with McLean and Howardchuk. Suominen comes back. Jets trying to get something going, and they look a tad bit sluggish. Howardchuk was at the very end of his shift. Thomas Steen, who has not been scoring much this year for the Jets, backhands the puck in, and this is Coffey. Gretzky, the lead for Curry, offside Oilers. Sanderson whistling the puck in. Reddick can't stop it, but Mullen checks Messier. Jets in their own zone. Howardchuk around Messier. Over to Waters, the defenseman, and he's pinched out by Anderson. Here's Kevin McClellan. He's slowed up, and Anderson carries on, and there'll be a penalty coming up. Referee Mike Nowith is going to Carlisle. A minute and a half to go in the Winnipeg power play. Paul McLean to Dale Howardchuk. Ellett over to Carlisle. Back to Dave Ellett. His shot deflected right on, and Moog held the puck long enough for Mike Nowith to blow the whistle. He didn't hold it long enough for me to think he should have blown the whistle, but the referee said stop play.
I think Nowith lost sight of it, and that is an instant call when the referee loses sight. Look at the screen in front. All of the people in front of Moog, I think it was either tipped or he lost sight of it. I'm wondering why he blew that down. That puck didn't disappear from everyone. Here's a real good look at that crowd in front of Andy Moog. Oh, it was tipped right at the blue line. Changed directions. It's tough to stop it, though, when you're sitting on the seat of your pants, Ken. If you leave a rebound lying there, you're in trouble.
Carlisle. Shot goes wide, comes in front, and nicely Steve Smith plays it away. Messier trying to get fancy, getting it out of his own end, and it costs him. Brian Mullen. Smith intercepts. Gregg gets the puck ahead. Messier's got Gretzky flying, and the pass out of the great one's reach. 50 seconds to go in Kevin McClellan's Edmonton penalty. Power play Winnipeg. They trail it 1-0 in the second period. Brian Mullen is knocked flying by Boop Boom, and play is stopped. It is offside, Winnipeg.
I mentioned the two phases of the power play, Ken. The first is setting up in the zone. This time it didn't. Whoa, there's The swiping body check. Those are very often the most dangerous ones, where you don't make full contact with someone. You just swipe by them. You catch them in the wrist. You catch somebody in the knee. Those are the types of hits that actually put players out of action, even more so than a direct hit.
Brian Mullen going flying that time. Messier's first period goal giving the Oilers the lead. They're currently shorthanded for another 41 seconds. Gretzky against Boschman, an ex-Oiler and Maple Leaf, for this faceoff.
And being shorthanded doesn't necessarily mean that the Oilers are not potent. 14 shorthanded goals this year, and they lead the NHL by a long shot in that statistic. And the man with the puck right now is the big reason for it.
There'll be a penalty. A penalty coming up against Winnipeg. The shot by Gretzky, the save, and Bill Derlago will go off for hooking. Both teams will be shorthanded.
Derlago does here. Watch, he spins Gretzky around. That doesn't stop the great one, does it? Great balance. He just keeps on rolling. I'll tell you, if you're going to take a penalty, especially in the offensive zone, you might as well drag someone down. But with Gretzky, easier said than done. Great balance.
Both teams shorthanded by a man. McClellan will be out in 20 seconds. Oilers lead 1-0. Dave Ellett, 22-year-old defenseman, gets the puck ahead to Thomas Steen, and the save by Moog. And he'll cover up for a faceoff as the Swede, Thomas Steen, had a good chance.
I wasn't sure Steen would have a chance to get the shot away, Ken. He took the big windup, came very close, you'll see, to hitting one of the Edmonton defenseman's stick. He's coming over. And Moog is far enough out of the net to make the save. I think he caught it up high on the right shoulder, but the key to that save is he's standing 10 to 12 feet out of his net, cutting down that angle, forcing the shooter to actually hit him. Had he been standing where he is now from this shot, pretty tough to move to those upper corners. There's very little to shoot at, and it's tough to understand that perspective from here. But once that goalie moves out and cuts down that angle, you really can't see very much.
McClellan ready to come back on the ice for Edmonton. Bouncing puck, and Messier controls. The Oilers now are at full strength. They're 0 for 1 on the power play, 4 for their last 41 power play attempts. Messier will set it up. Here's Gretzky after the puck, and it's taken right away from him by Marois. Wilson too far for Smale. Smale and Coffey into the corner, and Coffey controls the puck for the Oilers. They have the man advantage for better than a minute. They lead in the game 1-0. It's the second period as Messier loses the puck for a moment to Smale. Wilson, Smale killing the penalty. Now Steen replaces Smale for the Jets. Marois and Carlisle on defense in front of Pokey Reddick. Coffey leading the power play for the Oilers. Messier in quickly, and Reddick not very quick in getting back in the crease.
And if he has a weakness, young Pokey Reddick, it's handling the puck. The Oilers will continually tonight shoot it around the boards. They've been doing it consistently. That's about the third time that he's had a little trouble handling it behind the net. Really is nice for a defenseman to skate back and pick up a puck that's teed up for him. Reddick hasn't been able to do that for his guys tonight.
Moog holds the puck with McBain there, then clears, and here come the Oilers. They still have the man advantage. Gretzky with Krushelnyski. Krushelnyski went absolutely nowhere. Ran into Ellett. Yeah, and Gretzky couldn't believe it.
You could see Gretzky holding, waiting for him to use his size to break open. Krushelnyski's a great big guy, but even Wayne Gretzky, when he's being ridden off out of the play that way, can only do so much with it. You have to have people breaking for the net.
Derlago back on. Jets at full strength. This is Jari Kurri with Gretzky behind him. Ellett takes out Kurri. Ron Wilson for the Jets. They trail it 1-0. Approaching the 7-minute mark of the second period. Laurie Boschman for Winnipeg. Neufeld centers. Here's Carlisle. He lets it go high. And Gretzky taps the puck back to Lee Fogelin. Charlie Huddy. Fogelin and Huddy on defense for the Oilers. Edmonton changing players. Carlisle. Boschman in the middle from Neufeld. Brian Mullen taken out against the boards. Dumped by Dave Hunter, and the puck held. There'll be a neutral. Back in action after missing 3 weeks. Shoots the puck in, and Bukaboom gets it out. McTavish onto the wing to Napier. Hunter's playing the left wing. Napier unable to center. Hunter Knocked down by Waters. Napier digging a puck out. From the point, Coffey moves into the slot, but they're unable to reach him. Again, Winnipeg getting hemmed in their own zone. And that was the case, especially the first 10 or 12 minutes of the first period. Boom, boom. Here's Ron Wilson for Winnipeg. Just shooting the puck in, and the Jets will change players. Coffey coming back from a back injury. Very fluid, but offside on the play is Dave Hunter.
He didn't seem to be bothered too much by the back on that rush, but then again, you know, the back won't bother you until you're actually draped up against the boards. But he's a tough guy to line up. He's such a talented skater. That's one of Paul Coffey's great points. Here he is wheeling up the side. Now, he's got such a fluid stride that it really doesn't look like he's going that fast, but he is really moving. Craig McTavish, unfortunately for Coffey on this play, was moving a little faster, and he ended up offside.
Two-time Norris Trophy winner, best defenseman in the NHL, Paul Coffey. 11:54 left in the second period. Oilers lead it 1-0. They have outshot Winnipeg 14-12.
We got Gretzky out here now. There he is against Hawerchuk, and we talked to Dan Maloney this morning and said, who would you like to avoid on the ice rather than who would you like to play against Gretzky? And he said, well, Dale Hawerchuk is not the best defensive player, but the trouble is Wayne Gretzky double shifts. That means he's out there every second shift instead of every third or fourth like most other lines. He sits by the gate, and when he's ready to go, they have some kind of communication between himself and Coach Glenn Saylor. When Wayne's ready to go, he puts him back out there. So how do you match against a guy like that that's on the ice so much?
Play is offside. Winnipeg has not cleared the zone yet, and now the puck comes out, and the offside waved away. Suominen trying to move around Marois and held off just long enough. Gregg for Edmonton. The Oilers really coming out, really never had good possession of the puck there. Now they're able to shoot it in. Let's see how the Oilers do coming out. Gregg leaves it, gets it right back from Smith, and the great one with a blind pass can't get the job done initially. That's some pretty good forechecking here, Bill, by Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's what they wanted to do when the game started. They're just getting around to it now. We talked about Edmonton being most vulnerable when they do not have the puck.
Smale, and the pad save by Moe. Up from the defense, leaves the puck, and Gretzky somehow knew where to be, but he can't clear it. Now Gretzky trying to stop Brian Mullen, and he picks up a penalty. Gretzky doesn't like the fact that he is going to pick up a 2-minute hooking penalty. The great one goes off. The Jets have the man advantage, and they trail.
Again, he had lost it just prior to this, tries to track it down. I think he might get his stick caught right up here under Brian Mullen's arm, but let's face it, Brian Mullen, I think, was off balance when he shot. Wayne didn't argue, went to the box, picks up his 14th penalty minute this year.
2 minutes for hooking at 10 minutes of the second period. Jets with a man advantage, a chance to tie this game. Over the line with Krushelnyski, and Messier just too well covered at the last moment by Hawerchuk. Paul McLean, or Mullen rather, gets the puck to McLean, back to Mullen behind the net. Hawerchuk off to the side as Moog stops that shot. Filling the penalty for Edmonton, Napier, McTavish, Boom, and Coffey. And it's McTavish clearing to center ice. Steen over to Marois. Up front, Derlego. Hodgman and Neufeld. Derlego centers, and Andy Moog smothers the puck before Neufeld can get there.
I think Winnipeg was kind of fortunate to actually gain possession of that puck in the zone, Ken, but we're going to throw possession to Tom Meads.
All right, Bill Clement at the Met Center in Bloomington. The Toronto Maple Leafs have tied the game. Steve Thomas will get the rebound of a Rick Vaive shot and score against Kari Taco. It is 3-3, Toronto, Minnesota, with about 3 minutes to go in that game. Let's go back to the Northlands Coliseum. Ken?
The most amazing thing here tonight is the fact that the shots are even 14 aside. So either Winnipeg has had more shots than play would indicate, or they're playing a little bit better, Bill Clement, than I think they are.
Well, so, Ken, you know who I think is carrying the game for Winnipeg, at least the fact that they're still in it, are their checking lines. We really haven't seen Hawerchuk do anything, and it's the guys that are going out there and mucking deep in the Edmonton corners that are actually creating opportunities. It's their second, their third, and their fourth units that are out there that are doing the damage.
Gretzky is in the penalty box for Edmonton. Bill Derlego, the veteran, up for Carlisle. He's stopped by Coffey. Jets successful only 18% of the time this season on the power play. Ellett on one point. He has the puck. Carlisle on the other. And there's a penalty coming up as Ray Neufeld trips Paul Coffey. And now both teams are shorthanded for the next 31 seconds.
Well, it didn't take Ray long to get into the box, did it? He had committed the infraction right away. He was actually trying to hold Coffey up on the blue line for Ellett. Ellett on the right was streaking across. In the center of your picture was Neufeld, who got his stick in behind Paul Coffey when he was backing up. Coffey might have even just stepped on Ray Neufeld's stick and gone down, but it's one of those things that's almost a natural call for a referee. You take a player out of the play that dramatically, leave a space wide open, you have to call it.
Time of the penalty, 11:29. Mark Messier scored in the first period. That's been the only goal tonight here at the Northlands Coliseum in a matchup that you would expect to be rather high scoring. Ellett loses the puck. Napier does lose it himself to Howardchuk. He's got Marois on his right. Steen behind him. Into Steen. Too well covered by Fogelin. And that's what Fogelin does. He takes the man. Then Napier loses the puck. Howardchuk stops, looking for someone to pass to. Ellett. Now Gretzky's back on. He's at center ice. Gretzky with a puck. Edmonton with a man advantage. Gretzky shoots wide. Have you ever seen Gretzky not look for someone to pass to before he shoots? Always left, right. Who can I feed to? Nobody. I'll shoot.
Yeah, he assesses the situation better than anybody in the National Hockey League, possibly as well as anybody that ever played. Bobby Orr was the other player in my mind that could see it all the way Wayne Gretzky can, but Wayne actually sees it all sides behind him. Mark Napier, number 65 for the Oilers man. Is that a low percentage play? He tried to backhand it to someone with his back to the attacking players. That's just a taboo. He should have turned to the boards there, Ken. He actually was trying to jam it up the center of the ice with his back to the play. He got lucky on that one. Nothing lost, however.
Minute 17 to go in the Neufeld penalty. Jets clear the puck, not out. Gretzky keeps it in. Anderson losing it to Carlisle. And the Oilers will start out from their own net area. Gretzky, Messier, and Anderson up front on the Oilers power play. This is Messier. He'll shoot it in. Gretzky and Anderson will go after it. And it's kept in. Only for a moment, however, by Coffey. Ron Wilson knocks down Glenn Anderson. 40 seconds, and the Jets will be back at full strength. Coffey losing the puck. Nice defensive play by Brad Barry, as that pass was intended for Gretzky. Steen, McBain, Ellett, and Marois filling the penalty now in front of Pokey Reddick for Winnipeg. Messier backhands the puck in the corner. Gretzky is there. Can't get around Marois, but gets the puck back from Anderson, unable to center. And Mario Marois in dangerous territory and able to get the job done. A fine effort by the former Ranger, Canuck, and Nordique, Mario Marois. Now back at full strength are the Jets. Reddick sees Anderson wheeling in, gives the puck to Marois, and he just clears at the length of the ice. Boglin will go back. This will be icing. Marois, the tripping penalty at 15:04. You cannot give the Oilers too many opportunities. Last time these two clubs met just a couple of weeks ago, it was a one-goal game. Edmonton at this point of the game, and the Oilers got 3 goals in a minute and a half, and that was that.
You could see that shot of Marois in the penalty box taking care of a cut that to me looked as if it needed a couple of stitches. But let's face it, this is the National Hockey League. It won't keep a guy like Mario Marois out of action. He'll finish the period, 5 minutes to go in the period, then he'll go and get stitched up.
Gretzky, Curry, Messier, McClellan is in front. Barry stops the initial pass attempt. Messier can't get the puck back to Gretzky.
Tell you, Ken, we talk about power plays going bad. Now, Edmonton's really struggled, and we say that it might have been because they were without the man with the puck now, Paul Coffey. But I'll tell you, it shows with everyone. When Mark Messier starts making bad back passes and giving the puck away, you know that there's a confidence problem out there, too. And that always happens when teams end up in slumps on their power play.
There's a minute 25 left in the penalty to Winnipeg. Edmonton, we told you early, very sluggish lately on the power play. Tonight they are 0 for 3. And that is with Coffey back. Gretzky. Krushelnyski to Curry. Gretzky leading the way. Gets the puck. Carlisle stops him. Andy Carlisle's played a very strong game tonight.
Yeah, he has, and he hasn't really played all that well since he returned from injury a few games ago. Boy, I agree with you, Ken. He's playing a strong game tonight.
Here's Curry. The shot just wide as Gretzky set up Jari Kurri. There's 40 seconds left in Mario Marois' penalty, and there's Carlisle breaking up another play. Ron Wilson for Winnipeg, and a good example of Mo cutting down the angle. The other way, Jari Kurri. Back to Coffey. Jari Kurri again. Winnipeg really not letting Edmonton do much with this man advantage.
Edmonton continually will try and work the puck across the blue line instead of dumping it in and chasing it, Ken. And certain nights that is not going to get them anywhere. Tonight is one of those nights on the power play. Winnipeg's lining up across their blue line. They know that guys like Jari Kurri are going to try and make that nice, fancy, good-looking play. They just step in front and cut it out every time.
Brian Mullen with a puck. Marois comes back on. Winnipeg at full strength. Here's Dave Ellett over skating the puck. There's 2:50 to go in a scoreless second period. And Edmonton leads this one 1-0. Steve Smith ahead for McTavish. He doesn't see the puck. And this is Jim Kite. Too far for Brian Mullen, but there'll be no icing. Shots are even 17 aside, and it's been a pretty good period for the Winnipeg Jets. They've fared better, I think, than they did in the opening period, regardless of the fact that the goal was scored in period 1. Boschman with McLean. And the return pass doesn't reach him, but Brian Mullen's shot knocked down in front. Here's McLean, and he tries to make one pass too many. Carlisle, a drive deflects wide. McLean gets the puck in front. And Randy Gregg, for the second time in a matter of seconds, overskating a puck dangerously right in front of Moog. A minute 50 to go in the period. Brad Berry getting the puck in. Smale hustling, getting the puck for Winnipeg to Hamel. Marois comes up from the point, gets caught, but a good job by Smale coming back. And Winnipeg is really out hustling Edmonton.
Yeah, they sure are. And you mentioned Mario Marois getting caught. The fact was he didn't get caught. That's what Edmonton was doing in the first period. They were pinching in and getting caught. But when Mario Marois went in that time, he had a winger coming back, so there really wasn't a gamble for the Jets. They've been playing pretty solid this period.
That was the key. You got your winger, Smale in that case, coming back. You can make that move. If your winger doesn't help you out, you're a defenseman that's made a big mistake and a little intricacy of this game.
And you know how it happens? It happens by verbal communication on the ice. That's something that veterans understand. Guys like Lee Fogelin, who he's a senior Edmonton Oiler in the National Hockey League, but have verbal communication, and we can't hear it from up here. But it's such a vital part. Other than guys like Wayne Gretzky, most of the guys don't see everything that's happening out there. So you have to yell to your defenseman, go ahead in. I have them covered. And you can't hear it, but boy, it's taking place out there. Very big part of the game.
Mark Messier, 35 goals a year ago, has scored his 15th of the season tonight. The only goal of this game. This is a big face-off here near Andy Moog. Laurie Boschman against Messier. The Jets kind of have a flow going here. Boschman is waved out, and Ron Wilson, who is also a center. Dan Maloney has a pair of centers. Could take the face-off. Now let's see who's going to move in there.
It looked as if Randy Mitten had waved out Wilson as well. I don't know how he leaves two guys out at once.
And Maloney says, well, I guess we'll have to have 3 centers out there.
Yeah.
You can hear somebody yell. Here's Messier. Messier getting the pass from Krushelnyski that had to be 40 feet in the air. And you could hear someone yelling, one of his teammates. It's in the air. It's in the air.
Go for the fair catch.
There's less than 1 minute to go in the second period. Boschman's pass goes astray. Then Steve Graves has the puck for Edmonton. Back to Jeff Bookboom. Over to Graves. Too far, then Barry just gets it into the Edmonton zone. It stays on the line. Onside are the Jets. Krushelnyski gets the puck out, and here's Kulak. One man back, Carlisle. Coffey is up with Kulak, and Carlisle makes the play again. And Kulak really helped Carlisle.
Yeah, well, you know what? Randy Carlisle held his stick off of the ice, so it looked as if Kulak had a clear way to pass it over. And as soon as the pass came, the veteran Carlisle just dropped the stick right in the puck.
And that whistle stops play with 13 seconds remaining. It is offside, Edmonton at the Winnipeg line. Oilers lead it 1-0. Don't forget, during the second intermission, Tom Mees will bring you up to date again on a very busy night in the NHL. 8 games in all.
Here's a look at that almost fair catch by Mark Messier. I tell you, Barry does a pretty good job of hooking him there. That might have been called. You know what you have to do? Barry was looking back for the puck there, wasn't he? I'm not sure that he actually saw where it was. In that case, you know what you do? Forget about the puck, turn around and take the man any way you call. He got lucky on that when he hooked Messier down.
Can't get a pass interference call on that, can you?
Hardly.
There'll be a penalty called here. The Jets are called for too many men on the ice. Look at Dan Maloney.
He's trying to hold things up. He's saying, hold it a minute. I'm not sure he has the power to do that. He wants to talk to someone. But Ken, we talked about verbal communication, and I was talking to you this morning about when I played for Fred Shiro in Philadelphia during the Cup years. It was imperative when he told us on the bench who was up. We had to shout out loud who we were replacing on the ice. And that way you avoided too many men on the ice penalties. We hardly had any of them. And if players would do that, that's something that the wise coaches preach. When I tell you that you're going, talk it over on the bench, then shout it out loud. All right, Clement goes, he takes Howard Chuck and so on and so forth. You cut down on penalties such as this.
Linesman Swede Knox on the right of your picture made the call, and Mike Noeth explaining to a Dan Maloney representative how things went. And as we go, it's on to Tom Mees.
All right, Ken Wilson, they're inside 30 seconds left in overtime in Bloomington, Minnesota. Let's check it out. The Maple Leafs and the North Stars. Here's Peter Maher and Harry Neal with the last 30 seconds of overtime.
Up there, the Cows are lying all over the field. And play goes on. And here come the Leafs, 3 of them. Charging in, there's one man back, a shot by Vise. He scores! Rick Vise scores the overtime winner, and the Maple Leafs turn off the bench in a happy John Brophy. Well, those streaks end in a very mysterious fashion. And this one was maybe as weird an ending to a long losing streak as I've seen. And Rick Vise, who scored a lot of big goals for Toronto, really fired that one. But Andy Van Hellemond could have called 5 tackles in front of the Maple Leaf net before the Leafs got away 3-on-2.
Well, the old unwritten rule, thou shalt not call a penalty in overtime, helped the Maple Leafs out. Rick Vaive gets the game winner. You saw it live on the NHL tonight. Let's go back for the remainder of the second period. In Edmonton, here's Ken Wilson.
And the siren has just sounded to end this period. 13 uneventful seconds to close it out. A scoreless second period. Don't forget, with 13 seconds left, the Jets picking up that penalty for too many men on the ice.
The Jets really came on.
For the Toronto Maple Leafs, Alan Bester. Let's take a look at the most exciting play in hockey earlier this evening. You get one shot, no rebound, and Bester, well, Marouk made the move first, and Bester came over to make the save. The goaltender has the advantage on that. You'll find, if you look it up, the goaltenders save almost 2 out of every 3 penalty shots. Now let's show you the highlights from that game earlier this evening between Toronto and Minnesota at the Met Center in Bloomington. No score. Early on, Ron Will
play in the 1-0 lead. Glenn Anderson off Barry. And it's Carlisle clearing the puck the length of the ice. Wilson, Smale, Carlisle, and Barry killing the penalty for Winnipeg. Messier leading the attack for Edmonton to Gretzky. The other forward is Anderson. Curry with the puck is at one point, and Coffey is at the other. McTavish just on the ice will chase after the puck against Brad Barry. Carlisle back around the boards for veteran Doug Smale. And there's 55 seconds to go in the Winnipeg penalty. Ray Neufeld is serving the too many men on the ice penalty. Mark Napier, Wayne Gretzky. Quick shot deflected right on, and Reddick the save on Randy Gregg's shot.
He really didn't get much wood on it, Ken, but Reddick, I think, had a bit of a crowd in front of him. Watch Randy Gregg tries to one-time it here. Saw that Winnipeg player. I'll tell you, he didn't even try and block that shot. It was almost as if he tried to get out of the way.
Looked like McTavish might have tipped this.
Oh, it was his own player. Boy, I'll tell you what, when that rolling puck comes in, you have to know not to actually try and stop it unless you can make sure. And when it's rolling, you can't make sure. Dave Ellett tried to actually snap that one out of the way. But I'll tell you, that's a high-risk type of play. If you get down with your gloves or your legs in front of it is one thing, but that just handcuffed young Pokey Reddick.
Winnipeg still short-handed. Smith's shot. Gretzky with the puck now, gets it in front and ends up with it again. Gregg around the boards. Smith will come in from the point. 15 seconds to go in the Winnipeg penalty, and we'll have a face-off.
I'll tell you, Ken, this is not the same Edmonton power play that we saw just a couple of weeks ago here on NHL Tonight. They look rattled. I'll give Winnipeg some credit. They're doing a nice job killing the penalty. But I don't think I've ever seen the Edmonton Oilers being this jumpy on the power play and jittery. They're really not executing with the confidence that we've seen in the past.
Well, we also mentioned that the Jets have had very strong penalty killing all season. You know, Edmonton has not had the year this year that they had a year ago. The difference is they've been below 500 on the road. Here at the Northlands Coliseum, they're still very tough to beat. The Oilers at home, 14 wins, 2 ties, and only 2 losses. 10 seconds. Winnipeg will be back at full strength. Napier gets the puck along the boards for Krushelnyski. He's stopped by Ron Wilson. Neufeld back on. Jets at full strength. And the Oilers really missed a good opportunity to establish themselves as the take-charge team here at the outset of the third period. Dave Ellett. Napier. And the Oilers completing a line change. McLean tips the puck out, and it's Lee Fogelin, who hasn't really seen that much ice time lately. 1-0. Possible icing. Barry touches the puck. Icing is the call against Edmonton. Certainly, we've mentioned that the Jets are struggling, winless in their last 9 games, and their general manager, John Ferguson, up here with us watching this one.
Yeah, you can bet that when a team is going as poorly as Winnipeg is in this month of December, that their general manager is there. And don't think that the players aren't conscious of it either. They talk about it, thinking that Fergie is here, not only assessing his own team, but perhaps assessing Edmonton, maybe trying to work a deal, seeing who is expendable on his own team, who he wants to keep. Things really start to happen when a team gets into a skid, and the general manager really, he's doing his job properly, has to be there to assess everyone.
Laurie Boschman at center, facing off against Mark Messier. Coffee around for McClellan, but Ron Wilson is on his back. There will be a penalty as Ron Wilson was clearly held by McClellan. McClellan will get a 2-minute holding penalty. We'll be back short-handed. Marois for Winnipeg. Mullen to Howard-Chuck. McLean in front. And the save by Andy Moog.
Be nice if we can get a look at just how that puck ended up back at Andy Moog. What happens is he makes the smart play. He gets his stick on it. Somehow it deflects up in the air that ends up back on him. Here's Howard-Chuck. He has McLean going for that. He waits and waits, then tries to jam it in front. Moog actually gets the stick on the puck, which he's supposed to do with a pass that tight. Oh, it bounces right off McLean's shoulder. He deflected it up, and he almost scored with his shoulder.
Oilers clear the puck the length of the ice. They have Gretzky, Messier, Smith, and Gregg killing the penalty in front of Andy Moog. Winnipeg has staved off an Edmonton power play to start this third period. Now they're in the midst of a power play of their own. Marois, Brian Mullen with Howard-Chuck. In front to McLean behind him. That was virtually the same play that we had seen moments ago.
And he was just as open, too.
Steve Smith. Mark Napier. Less than a minute to go in McClellan's penalty. Napier killing the penalty with McTavish, who takes the puck. And Howard-Chuck has to clear the puck away.
You know, twice McLean got in behind Edmonton, and very often when you're killing the penalty, it's the guy without the puck that's the most dangerous, not the puck carrier. That's why you always have to be aware of what is behind you. Edmonton twice was guilty of not being aware of what was behind them.
Valuable seconds tick away from the McClellan penalty. 1-0 Edmonton. Don't forget, the NHL tonight on ESPN will be right back here in Edmonton on Sunday night. And a terrific matchup, the Oilers and the Philadelphia Flyers. Here's Fogelin. Now Carlisle set, keeps the puck in. 8 seconds left in the man advantage for Winnipeg. Boschman. Derlego shoots it wide. Carlisle. Now McClellan back on. Both teams at full strength. Bill Derlego. Pinch to the boards by Fogelin. Yari Curry. Great positional hockey there with a pass to Gretzky. Gretzky around Carlisle. In front, McClellan. And the save by Reddick. Here's Gretzky again. This is magic. Just look at this. He's got it again, friends. And the man's open in front. I think Wayne's going to have to put it in himself.
I'll tell you what, he always finds a way to beat you. That's the comment from the people that coach against him.
Then Boschman knocked down as he tries to break in on Moog. And the action picking up here in the third period with the Oilers up 1-0.
And when you tie Wayne up, you know, you think you have him corralled. He invents new ways. That's why he is the greatest, because he invents ways.
Here's Coffey. He's hooked. Edmonton will have the man advantage. Terrific game with 14:10 to go in regulation play.
The left that Winnipeg has to play even strength to try and get back. You got 14 minutes left in the game.
From the point, Coffey to Curry, and Coquerette the save. Anderson hit along the boards. Messier knocks Ellett down. Then Ellett runs into Messier as the puck comes in front. The Oilers tonight are 0 for 4 on the power play. Here's Marois breaking in, and he can't get the shot away as Curry just held back his stick in the nick of time. A little lift of the stick, a little play by Curry.
Boy, you know, if Marois had it to do over again, Ken, he would have shot it sooner. He waited, probably thought he was in alone. One of the Oilers got back fast enough to drag him down. Boy, that was the golden opportunity that Winnipeg could have used. He just wheels and deals. Look at the... Well, there's Yari Curry, number 17. There's the problem for Edmonton. It is a forward back on the point, but he gets some help. I think it's from Anderson coming back that just throws Marois off. I'll tell you, you have to have your forwards coming back when you have... Here's the save by Reddick at the other end, but when you have a forward back on defense, such as Yari Curry, the onus is on the forwards that are out there to actually come back and help him. You have to understand that he's more vulnerable back there than a defenseman is.
Edmonton power play. They lead 1-0 in the third period. The Oilers 4 for their last 44 with a man advantage. Just absolutely helpless on the power play. Huddy on with Coffey, Anderson, Gretzky, and Messier. Coffey wheeling it to Gretzky, but off Carlisle's stick into the crowd. 1:03 to go in the penalty to Gilles Hamel of Winnipeg. Budweiser keeping the action going here at the Northlands Coliseum. That clean, crisp taste of Budweiser. Perfect for the holidays and perfect for the NHL tonight. This Bud's for all you do. Shots on goal, Oilers 21, Jets 20. Oilers with a first period goal from Mark Messier at 12:36. Coffey and McClellan assisting. Smith surveying the situation. Napier, Krushelnyski, McTavish up front. McTavish fires the puck in. Reddick hands it right to the Oilers. Napier. Smith. in front, and the play broken up nicely by Marois. And then Steen will just play the puck ahead.
Okay, we talked about Randy Carlyle having a pretty decent game tonight. Number 22 for the Jets, Mario Marois, has put in a pretty decent performance too.
And the puck into the Winnipeg bench with 21 seconds remaining in the Jets penalty and 12:31 to go in regulation play.
There's a look at the Oilers bench. We talked about John Ferguson, Winnipeg's general manager, being here, perhaps looking for a trade. It's doubtful that at this stage of the season, Glenn Sather will be actively looking to make a deal, but there's word that he is in dialogue now with Jerry Meehan, Buffalo's general manager. He's in a lot better position trading-wise than John Ferguson is of the Winnipeg Jets. It's difficult to trade when you're at a disadvantage. His team isn't going well, and I'll tell you, when general managers know that you need to make a trade, your leverage goes right out the window, and that's what John Ferguson's facing. His team's in a skid, and he would like to make a trade. So
that puck went into the Edmonton bench to stop play.
Here is the tail end of Edmonton's power play in the other end. Watch Reddick right in the middle of your screen, the little goalie. He's staying back in his net. He moves out to cut that pass pretty decisively, but he was hugging the post. He almost got caught. Watching the first period, he almost got caught leaving that post, but he's hugging it pretty closely, and pretty decisive kid in there.
Hamel ready to come back on. He's on the ice. Jets are at full strength. Brad Berry ahead to Smale. Oh, and a nice poke check by Randy Gregg. Here's Hamel to Ron Wilson. He's stopped, and Glenn Anderson in possession of the puck for the Oilers. Out to Kevin McClellan. Oilers changing players. Coffey takes over. McClellan. Anderson. Messier. He's too well covered by Hamel. Berry. McClellan upended by Carlyle. No penalty. And an offside pass. And the faceoff will come back inside the Winnipeg end.
And I talked about verbal communication earlier. I could hear Mark Messier at that time from up here say, here, when Glenn Anderson had the puck. There are times when you shouldn't yell for it, and that was one. Messier was actually covered and yelled for it. I'll tell you, nothing drives you crazier than playing with a guy that is always yelling for it, all right? There's an appropriate time for everything. Messier yelled and he shouldn't have, but I've played with guys. They are yelling constantly, here, here, here. It doesn't matter if there are 2 or 3 men on them, so it has to be used appropriately.
And then you have the opposition. The decoy call.
I'll tell you, my second game in the National Hockey League, Henry Richard yelled at me from behind the pocket rocket, and for some strange reason, I looked before I passed it. Boy, was I happy. My second game in the league. Who would have guessed that Henry Richard would have known my name? But he looked at the program and said, I'm going to get this young rookie, and he came very close to doing that.
Raimo Suominen for the Oilers with Gretzky to Suominen. In front is Curry. And Marois, nice job stopping the pass. Now the Oilers are dangerous. They lead 1-0. Reddick the save on Suominen. Marois breaks out with Smale. Marois to Smale. They've got Hamel in the slot. Hamel shoots. And the save by Andy Moog as Hamel positioned himself perfectly. Curry off the boards to Gretzky. And back for the puck is young Dave Ellett. Born in Cleveland, raised in Ottawa, played at Bowling Green State on their NCAA championship team in '84. Here's another youngster, Berry, stopped, but it's Hamel. He shoots, he scores! Jill Hamel! And that ties it at 1.
Boy, he had a great chance, Ken, just seconds earlier by shaking off a check from Suominen. He gets in alone again. There's a bit of a logjam near the blue line. Jari Kurri goes for the puck and lets him go. I talked earlier about forgetting about the puck, taking the man. Kurri went for the puck and missed it. As a matter of fact, that looked as if it came right back off of Curry's pads onto Gilles Hamel's stick.
That's his 11th of the year. Gilles Hamel, Berry and Steen assist. 9:27 of the third period. It is 1-1 here in Edmonton. The Oilers unbeaten in their last 7. The Jets winless in their last 9. Napier clears the zone. Hunter unable to reach the puck. And now it is Dave Hunter to Craig McTavish. He's got Vogelin moving up from the defense. Lee Vogelin against Randy Carlyle. In front, McTavish can't get it, but here's Napier. Ricky Reddick comes up with a super save. Carlisle ahead to Howard Chuck, offside. That stops play with 9:40. And look at the Jets now. It's 2-1 Winnipeg.
Boy, I'll tell you. It might not look like a sign of relief on Dan Maloney's face, but that's what it is. Mark Messier, the culprit for Edmonton. Try and get a look at him when Howard Chuck actually steers it into the net. Look how close Messier is to him. Does not even come close to tying Dale Howard Chuck up, in spite of the fact that he's in a very, very dangerous position there.
Less than 9 minutes remaining, and Winnipeg trying to pull the upset. Has a 2-1 lead. Here's Howard Chuck again. In front, McBain can't get a shot, and Dean couldn't get his stick on the puck also. Barry firing it right back in, and the Jets are really taking it to the Oilers.
I'll tell you, Ken, the Oilers have never been accused of being able to check, and they've really shown that in the third period.
Here's a chance now as the puck goes into the Winnipeg zone. Shot right back out. Howard Chuck is 22nd from McBain, and they'll give the other assist to Barry at 11:01. McClellan being chased by Barry. Run to the boards. Messier with his superb strength gets the puck back to Coffey, and that deflects high. McClellan in front. Messier, the backhand drive. Oh, and taking too long was Anderson. He had all night. The puck is still loose, and finally a hand pass, and the puck held by Reddick. The fun is just beginning.
We'll see a big effort from Mark Messier, Ken, in his last 7 minutes and 55 seconds. He knows he was guilty of not checking on that go-ahead goal.
Gretzky centers, and Ellett breaks up the play. They gave the initial assist on that tie-breaking goal to Barry, but it clearly should have been Endine. Krushelnyski unable to get the pass from Gretzky, and this will be an icing call against Winnipeg. Now you've got that typical question. What do the Jets do now with 7:32 to go and a 2-1 lead? Do you dare try to play defensively?
I think they've been playing pretty well defensively. They can pay a little more attention to Wayne Gretzky, continue with the same attack, move out of their end when they can, and dump it in deep and start forechecking. Remember the first period they were having trouble? They really weren't penetrating the zone with any dumps and chases. They've started to do that from the second period on, and they've really been successful with it. And it's been a lot of their jammers and blockers and grinders that have really done the spade work out there for them.
Wayne Gretzky is on the ice. He deserves center stage. Marois, who's played well. Can't get the puck out. Boop, boom, pinching in again, some 20 feet from the right point. Gretzky tied up. That's the way to contain him. Here's Hamel. Can't get around Coffey, but gets the shot, and Moog the save on Gilles Hamel. At center ice, Steen playing the puck in, and the Oilers regain possession, only to have it stolen by Hamel. Now Andy Moog plays the puck ahead to Gretzky. Steen knocked down, and Bookboom will start out. Winnipeg scoring. Hamel at 9:27 to tie it. Howard Chuck at 11:01 here in the third period to give Winnipeg the lead. Here's Jari Kurri. Gretzky moving in front, but Carlisle intercepts. There's just over 6 minutes to go. Ron Wilson. His shot, Moog the save, and almost had trouble as it came quickly back off the end board.
I know Wayne won't care too much about it, but it's worth pointing out that he is at present, with 6 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the third period, in jeopardy of ending a 20-game scoring streak that he's on. He could care less at this point. He's the kind of athlete that would much rather see his team win than successfully continue a streak at this point. I'm sure that's the last thing in his mind. Just another comment on his greatness. 20 games with points.
There's 6:11 to go. McTavish facing off with Boschman. Boschman, quick shot, the save, and the puck goes to Napier. Napier on with Hunter and McTavish, and Laurie Boschman ends up with it. This is Ray Neufeld in front, and a a good save by Moog as Ron Wilson was skating by the crease area. McTavish for Edmonton. They trail 2-1. Then Ellett covers up. Here's Dave Hunter looking for Randy Gregg. Good chance, but he's hooked. Hooked down by Ron Wilson. No penalty from referee Mike Nolan. Ron Wilson with Boschman and Neufeld. Neufeld can't get his stick on the puck as he's too well covered by Hunter. Here's the great one, Gretzky, with Gregg and Hunter against Barry. Gretzky trying to move in, centers. Gregg shoots, and Reddick makes the save. The puck's still loose, and the Jets come up with it. Neufeld up the middle to Howard Chuck. He's poke checked. Smith will beat Howard Chuck to the puck, but a good check by Howard Chuck. Only to have Stan Kulak clear the zone. Carlisle has to cover up and clear out to Howard Chuck, too far. Gregg to Graves, and Gretzky will dig into the corner, but he's beaten there by Marois. Bouncing puck for Randy Carlisle. Up to Smale and out to center ice. There's 4:40 to go in the third period. And Winnipeg on their home ice, where they've lost only twice this season, trailing it 2-1. Howard Chuck very nonchalantly just plays the puck right to Andy Moog. Randy Gregg for Edmonton. This is Gretzky. Too far for Kulak. And a loose puck for Glenn Anderson. His shot is stifled by Smale. Ellett clears the zone, and the Oilers will go back for the puck. Paul Coffey sends some electricity through this crowd. Reddick leaving it for Barry. At the point, Coffey. Carlisle intercepts. He's stopped by Messier. Neufeld breaks out 3-on-2 with Boschman and Wilson. Ron Wilson back to Boschman, and they can't get the puck through. Down to 3.5 minutes to go in period number 3, and the Jets clinging to a 2-1 lead. McClellan all over the back of Carlisle. Messier looking in front. He's got Honey. He'll shoot. Oh, what a pad save by Pokey Reddick. A fine chance there for Edmonton. Charlie Honey behind the net to McClellan, too well covered. Messier overskates the puck. It's loose. Here's Anderson trying to get it to the point, and Ron Wilson intercepts and ices the puck. With less than 3 minutes to go, there's a break in the play. The Jets 2.
Left pad. Boy, I'll tell you, the kid is quick. That was labeled for the low left. Messier in a perfect position to shoot. That might be his last chance at it. I'm sure when he let Howard Chuck go in front of the net, he was saying to himself, give me one more crack at it. I know I can get it back. That might have been his last chance at it.
2:56 to go. Dan Maloney's Winnipeg Jets winless in their last 9 games. They've shut down Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky had scored in 19 straight games coming in, trying to make it 20 straight. He's on the ice. Face-off comes in front. Gretzky shoots, and Reddick makes the save on Wayne Gretzky. That face-off actually really was won by Winnipeg.
Yeah, but it was a great effort after the face-off. The puck was bounced over 2 people's sticks. Wayne didn't even look twice at it. He's shaking his head now. I'm sure he thinks I should have put it up high or I hit him, because he actually did. That wasn't one of Reddick's better saves. Anytime you stop Wayne Gretzky, it's something positive. I'll tell you, Wayne Gretzky will not get off the ice now. 3 minutes left in the game. I'll guarantee you Wayne Gretzky will not be off the ice. And that's a long time to stay out there. If the play continues, and there aren't that many stoppages of play between now and the end, he is the smallest forward on this team weight-wise, and he has a constitution that's unbelievable. His stamina is almost without parallel. He can pace himself and stay out there longer than anybody in the NHL.
It's been quite a night for that young man, Pokey Reddick. A year ago, playing for the Fort Wayne Comets in the International League.
Kind of worries me how Reddick cheats to his left. Notice that gaping hole you can see in the net. Now, the centerman is a left-hander. I can see him doing that against a right-handed centerman for Edmonton, because he wouldn't be able to shoot. Look to the right of Reddick, to our left. Man, that's a lot of net right there.
Face-off won by Winnipeg. Hamel to Boschman. Moog hands the puck to Hamel, and he has trouble controlling but keeps it in. 2:35 is the time remaining. Edmonton on the charge. They trail 2-1, coming off that 8-8 tie with Los Angeles, and getting ready for their next action here Sunday night against the top team in the league this season, the Philadelphia Flyers. And you'll see that one here on ESPN. Philadelphia here against the Oilers in Edmonton on Sunday night, and we hope you'll be with us for that one on the NHL Tonight. Since midway in the first period, Winnipeg has played a very strong game. They're not letting Edmonton really wind up here. Smith boxed in by Wilson. This is Brad Berry. There's a minute 40 to go. Gretzky is out at his own blue line. You can't help but zero in on number 99. Hunter carries the puck for the Oilers. A minute 20 remaining. We'll watch Moog. Here is McBain. Can't get the puck out. Moog is still in the goal. Hunter to Gretzky. A minute 10 remaining. In front it comes as Napier centers, but the Jets clear the puck out. Now down to 1 minute to go in regulation play. Coffey with the Oilers down by a goal to Messier. He stopped, but the puck kept in. Moog is still in the Edmonton goal. Now there's 50 seconds to go. Winnipeg, Smale. This is exactly where the Jets want the puck.
Yeah, sure, they can't get Moog out. The Oilers would like nothing better now than to get out of their end. They have to get out of their end, otherwise they can't get that extra attacker, let alone score a goal.
There's only 30 seconds to go. Moog heads for the bench. It's Gretzky with Anderson and Messier. Messier with a puck. McTavish is the extra skater. Ellett trying to spin the puck away, pokes it to the boards, gets it, can't get it out. You see the time ticking away. The Edmonton net is empty. And the puck comes to center ice. 5 seconds. Smale hits the side of the net, but it's all elementary as the Winnipeg Jets and coach Dan Maloney end a winless stretch of 9 games. And this, Bill Clement, turned out to be quite a hockey game.
Yeah, we didn't, in all honesty, when you stack these two teams up against one another, Winnipeg going as poorly as they were, Edmonton going as well as they've been, you thought, well, it could be a walk for Edmonton. But I wonder if it goes back, Ken, to the 4 goals that Los Angeles got on them late in the game, their last game, that carry over to tonight's game. Winnipeg just stayed with them. And that man right there has to be our NHL Tonight player of the game, Eldon Pokey Reddick, who, let's face it, Ken, in the first period when it could have been 4 or 5-0, really held the Jets in.
Pokey Reddick had a fine night. Randy Carlyle, Mario Marois, outstanding on defense. The winning goal, Dale Howard-Chuck, is 22nd of the year in the 3rd period, and Winnipeg wins it 2-1. A tough bullet to swallow for the Oilers as they look ahead to Sunday night and Philadelphia. So that's the story. 60 minutes of exciting NHL action here tonight as the Jets win it by a score of 2-1.
Hardly a way to get ready for the Philadelphia Flyers, too, Ken. The Flyers play such a tight game, way tighter than Winnipeg, and they're more talented than Winnipeg. Here's a look at that gaping open net chance. I believe it's Smale. Might have tipped off Paul Coffey's skate. Well, those are the ones you like to get at the end of a game to pad your scoring totals. But I'll tell you who was conspicuous in his absence for the Oilers tonight, I felt, and he was suited up? Glenn Anderson. He was one of their offensive leaders. Yari Curry had 1 chance. Wayne Gretzky once again had enough chances to really do some damage to them, but there were a lot of guys that I didn't see out there that I expected to see for Edmonton.
Wayne Gretzky had that 19-game scoring streak, coming in with 35 goals in 35 games, 87 points, had his chances, especially late. It just didn't materialize. They shut down Gretzky. They get good defensive work. The Jets get 3rd period goals from Hamel and Howard-Chuck after Messier scored for Edmonton in the 1st period. And Winnipeg comes out with a victory 2-1. Bill and I will return to the Northlands Coliseum in just a moment.
Kerr on the left still leads the way.